What's up, and welcome in to Under the Hood with me, Jonathan Hood. Thanks so much for downloading the podcast and checking us out on YouTube, youtube.com. We are growing on YouTube because of you. So thank you so much for checking out our YouTube channel. And we know on Black Friday, it is going to be special. It's going to be the Chicago Bears taking on the world champion, Super Bowl champion, Philadelphia Eagles. And of course, if we're going to talk about Fly Eagles Fly, we only have to talk to only one person, and that's Cliff Augustin from The Ringer and Spotify. Cliff Augustin is with me. He's been on the show before talking 76ers and everything else, Philadelphia sports. But now's the time for us to talk about two 8-3 teams.
Yeah,
And Cliff joins me right here on Under the Hood. As always, sir, I appreciate the time.
Hoodie, my guy, come on, man. How far back do we go? I had to do this. Once you hit me up, I was like, yeah, no matter what, I'm popping out for you. You know, I'm going to show up for you. You, my guy, man. I appreciate this all the time, bro.
Cliff, I appreciate it, man. I'm glad you're having fun at the Ringer and Spotify from your time at
Hmm.
ESPN Radio. And so,
Yep.
no, it's a change for you, but it's a good change, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I love working with my guy Shill and everybody else that we work with on the Ringers Philly special, and it's a special thing to do this for Philadelphia and for the fans of Philadelphia and Ringer NBA as well. Shout out to Logan, shout out to Howard Beck, and shout out to Roger Bell and all them and Victoria and everybody I work with over there too as well. So and then just everybody at the Ringer in general, like all my good folks over there. So it's a blessing, man. Honestly, it truly is a blessing. Getting to do what you love every single day.
Cliff, I want to talk to you about the state of the Eagles. At this point in
Mhm.
time, what would you say the state of the Eagles coming off the loss against the Cowboys?
There's a sense of panic. There's a sense of, oh, we don't know what's happening with this offense. There's a level of, we kind of went through this last year. It's a mixed bag, really. So to me personally, I don't look at last year as something that we should hang our hat on. We should be moving forward to whatever is happening in 2025. Like we have enough evidence. We have 11 games of evidence that the Eagles offense is struggling, and everyone knows it. So the numbers speak for itself. The Eagles are amongst one of the worst teams in third down percentage in the NFL. They score a ton of points and they do a lot of things, but it feels like there's no consistency with the offense. It feels like the coaching staff kind of doesn't know what they're doing. There's a lot of penalty. I mean, good lord, they had like a full football yard of penalties against the Cowboys. You gave up a 21-point lead, didn't score in the second half, had made a ton of mistakes, had two fumbles. You just can't sustain drives. Like
Mhm.
so, that's very very concerning. You try to hang your head on defense. The defense is great, by the way. The defense is, I believe, they're somewhere in the range of like ninth or tenth in points allowed per game this season, which is pretty good for an NFL defense. In the average around like 20 points a game for the opponent's points per game on defense alone. So I'm the defense is no one has any issues with the defense. I think everybody knows, like, hey, look, in today's NFL, if your defense is holding opponents to anywhere under like 23 to 25 points a game, like you're pretty good for the most part, right? And you're not getting blown up. And the defense only really had one like bad game. They had a couple bad halves, but they had one really bad overall game, and that was that first Thursday night against the Giants when the Giants whipped up on the Eagles, and then the Phillies lost that same exact night to the Dodgers in the playoffs and closed that series, got closed out as well. So the defense is fine in my eyes, and according to other Eagles fans' eyes, the defense is good, but the offense is just, I mean, for how much you pay, the talent on offense, for who's on offense, this offense is just completely underperforming. It's unacceptable.
Yeah, so before I ask you about Jalen Hurts, I do want to ask you about the running game because
Yeah,
I've seen the numbers, Cliff. So
yeah,
Saquon Barkley running the football, it was at a 6 yards a clip last year. Now it's down to 3.7.
yeah.
What's going on with the dynamic of the running game and the offensive line?
If you look at his numbers in comparison to last year, it's like less than half of what's on pace to what it was last year. Like I think
Mhm.
last year at this point he had like 1,300 yards. I believe he had 12 touchdowns. I think he's at six right now. I think he's at like 680. This is just me just remembering the numbers following Sunday. I think he's around like 680ish yards. Like you said, half the yards per carry, basically. Like it's all bad. I would say if you look at the film, I would say a lot of it's based on what's going on with the offensive line, and schematically, it's just not enough going on there. Like, there's a lot of just inside zone. There's a lot of, just hand the rock off, Saquon, do your thing, kind of make a miracle out of nothing. Saquon is still an elite running back. Let's not get fooled here. A lot of people were trying to say, yo, you mean to tell me in a matter of 6 months or whatever it was, Saquon Barkley and AJ Brown, somehow fell off and aren't no longer top five. Saquon just won Offensive Player of the Year. They're
Right.
no they're no longer top five, top 10, top five receiver running backs in the NFL right now. Like, you mean to tell me that Super Bowl dramatically dropped them off in those rankings? No, it's the offensive line, and you can tell it's the offensive line. There's not enough holes being created. There's not enough creativity. Dudes are just getting beat at the point of attack. There's not enough space for Saquon to run through and break off, a couple of his runs. But look, I'm not going to blame Saquon. We see what it is. We see he's still very explosive as he was last year when he first came to the Eagles. It's just there's an offensive line issue, and I think schematically they're not getting placed in the right positions in order, to break off some of these big runs that Saquon had last year in comparison to this year.
There's different tiers when we talk about quarterbacks in the NFL, as you well know. A lot of the
Mm-hmm.
young cats wish that they could be Josh Allen or wish they
Yep.
could be Patrick Mahomes. But when it comes to Jalen Hurts, like I've always admired him for just being steady, steadying the waters. It doesn't. He's not the worst. He's not the best, but he's a guy that is a good teammate that steadies the team. So if I asked you where is Jalen Hurts amongst the best quarterbacks in the NFL, you'd say
Somewhere hovering around top 10, 15, I would say right now, Jalen Hurts. I mean,
to
look,
the middle.
I would say, I mean, that's slightly, I guess it's like up slightly above average, right?
Hmm.
Like if you do top 10, 15, because obviously there's 32 whatever that start every week. So and there's a lot of trash quarterbacks in the NFL that start every week, but Jalen Hurts is far from that.
Yeah.
We saw what Jalen Hurts is capable of doing, especially in the Super Bowl last year. We know the type of guy he is, and just the type of focus, the level of focus that he has, each and every game that he goes into. But yeah, I mean, obviously he's very risk averse. I think offensively, schematically, there's just no creativity with this offense right now. There's no motion. They were one of the worst teams with motion, I believe, 2 years ago when Brian Johnson had taken over, and now it's coming back to light in comparison to when Kellen Moore was in Philly last year, and then they did a lot of fun, creative things and created explosive plays. I mean, the Eagles aren't even creating explosive plays. A lot of defenses are just sitting back in the zone, waiting for Jalen Hurts to try to make a decision, and it's just not happening. And this offense is just very feast or famine. You could tell by that in their third down, conversion percentage. Like, they don't even trust Hurts to throw the ball anymore on third and whatever. They're just saying, like, hey, on third and long, just run the ball. Like, they're not, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're playing
Yeah.
like early 2000s football where it's like, hang your head on defense, do that, da da da. It's like, no, at some point you're gonna have to try and attempt to win this damn football game, and it feels like they're just being ultra conservative this year, and I'm not sure who that's coming from, whether it's coming from the coaching staff, Hurts, whether it's coming from wherever, but something's got to be fixed. And I know Jalen is capable of doing more than what is being shown right now.
Okay, we need to delve into that a little bit, Cliff.
Yeah.
I'm sure that I'm sure that Philly fans are just upset about what you just talked about right there, about that aspect of, hey, we just won the Super Bowl. Why are we so risk averse when it comes to the quarterback? At some point, he's got to be able to rip it and be able to connect down the field. So,
Mhm.
do you believe that comes from Sirianni? Because I saw some of that last year, but I thought that the offense opened up more last year down the stretch into the Super Bowl. But so,
Yep.
why risk averse here this season?
I just think the offense is Sirianni's offense. I think Kellen Moore implemented a lot more as the OC last year, coming from outside of the building. I mean, Patullo and Sirianni have been linked together for God knows how long. I mean, they've been boys for a very, very long time. I'm not sure how far back it goes, but Patullo's been on the staff for, like 4 or 5 years or whatever. So he's, him and Sirianni are boys. That's where the offensive mindset comes from. It comes from them too. Sirianni hasn't shown that he's some type of like offensive mastermind or a guy that's like a forward-thinking offensive schematic guy, if that makes
Hmm.
sense. It just
Yeah.
seems everything just seems very vanilla. It seems out of rhythm. It seems like it's funny because like I'm a type of guy where it's like, all right, look it down in distance and like kind of determine. You should have like a play sheet for, let's say it's like third and long or second and 10 or first and like you should have a play
Yeah.
sheet for certain things that you want to run. It just feels like there's no down and distance situational play sheet. It feels like they just go out there and just like, yeah, let's just run the ball right here. Let's just pass this ball right here. Let's just do stick route. Like there's nothing creative about this offense. If you watch the film, it's anytime they score a touchdown, it's just AJ, like you saw AJ Brown beat Deron Bland on the first, like that's how they score points. Like it's just sometimes it's just the talent is just that good that they score points based off that. But if these players weren't on the Eagles offense, I really would wonder how bad the offense would be. Like I get it, players making offense, like that. We all know that. Like it's like Joe's versus the what do they say? X's and O's versus. or Joe's and pros, X's and O's or whatever.
That's right.
I
That's
forget
right.
the old saying. It's like
Jimmy's and Joe's against pros, and yeah,
X's and O's, something like that.
yes.
But yeah, if let's just say there isn't a Jalen Hurts, there isn't an AJ Brown, there isn't a Saquon Barkley, there isn't a Devontae Smith. Like what? Realistically speaking, like let's say you just replace those dudes with just average ass players. What happens? Like it would look crazy. It would look nuts. So I think a lot of it is just the talent has gotten us to being has gotten the Eagles to being 8-3, and schematically just offense like they'll show flashes of kind of like in that second half of the Rams game or the Buccaneers game. I believe in first the first half of the Buccaneers game, or like the Giants game before the bye week when they whooped up on the Giants. Even the Vikings game, there's a couple of big plays in that game too as well, but there's
Mhm.
no consistency with it. Like there's just a major fundamental lack of consistency, and I'm not sure if that's like partly due to Jalen not wanting to throw in, want to be risk averse and not throw into tighter windows or whatnot, but at some point either something's got to give with the offense. Jalen's got to take more shots down the field, or you're going to lose more games like you did versus the Cowboys, and it's going to creep up on you.
What is AJ Brown's beef? Is it more on Jalen Hurts or the offensive playbook from the coaching staff?
Um, I truly wonder what it is. I think it's probably a mixture of both. I would say he's probably frustrated. Jalen just not. I mean, he had his fair share obviously on Sunday, uh, having over 10 catches, 100 yards, scored as well too. So he had a pretty solid game. I think overall, I think most players are frustrated with the offense as a whole. Like I think, um, you know, people are going to defend Kevin Patullo and players are going to defend Patullo, but there has Lane Johnson earlier this season said something about it, and AJ's been pretty vocal about the offense throughout the season, in the press and whatnot. So I think his beef is probably a little bit of both. I think it's just more so, Jalen not necessarily taking those shots and, giving AJ Brown the option to beat somebody on those 50-50 balls. And I think the offense is just not designed in a way that AJ Brown thinks is fully functional to win games. Over a span of an entire season versus good teams as well.
Cliff, it'd be hard for me to complain outwardly
Yeah,
after I've got a Super Bowl ring. I'm still on a good football team. I
yeah,
just think that it'd be hard for me to be talking to the press or have it leaked that I'm pissed off that I'm not getting the football. Look, I know all wide receivers and skill position players believe they're always open.
yeah,
I'm just saying that, man, like there's a way to communicate with Jalen or the coaching staff that, hey, you need to get me the ball more often. I know I can beat my man one on one.
yeah. I mean, there's better routes of going about it, but my
Yeah,
thing is like if the players don't care, then we shouldn't really care either, right? Like, and that really only matters what the players think. Like, the players think like, all right, this dude is annoying. He's being selfish. He's thinking about himself. Da da da. All right, then that's an issue. But it seems to me like a lot of players might low key kind of agree with what AJ Brown has been saying for the
sure.
whole entire season. Because look, they play the game. They know what's up. Like they see like, all right, bro, we've been stopped on, we've had 3 and outs for the last, 6, 7 series or whatever. No pun intended, but
Do do
you
do
know,
do 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 do.
shout out to Skrilla on that one. But yeah, but you know what I'm saying though? Like I think the players know like, hey, there needs to be something better going on here than what we've been putting out on the field.
Okay, so the a lot of teams wish they had the front office of the Eagles. I
Yeah.
know for Philly fans that they could pick apart Howie Roseman and some of the decisions that's been made, but the point is, y'all win the Super Bowl. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, and again, a winning franchise. What makes Howie Roseman so effective in his job?
Just his willingness to never to just keep going and keep moving forward, like not staying stagnant. The Eagles just won a Super Bowl, and Howie Roseman said, "All right, let's go get one of the best pass rushers available, at the trade deadline. Like, let's make this team even better. Let's keep the ball rolling. Let's make sure we sign our players early on here so we can keep these guys going forward. Let's sign our offensive line. Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickers. Like, let's take care of the homegrown guys, right? Let's draft well, right? Let's always have a lot of capital so we can make trades. I mean, they have a ton of picks coming out. I don't even know the amount off the top of my head, but they have a ton of picks. There's a lot of compensatory picks coming up from certain trades and different things and whatnot. So it's just the always forward thinking mindset that Howie Roseman has is to get better and trust in like the scouting department.
Cliff, you don't really need this game on Black Friday. If you don't mind, could you just lay down? You really don't need this game. I mean, y'all gonna be fine. I mean, you're the Eagles, so you don't mind stepping aside right on Friday. Is that okay?
No, man, we need to make sure we get to business on Black Friday. That would be an alarming thing to lose to the Bears. Not like the Bears are bad or anything like that. It's just the defense, man. It is like I looked at the Bears numbers yesterday. It is night and day from offense and defense. Like
It
the
is.
they are amongst some of the worst numbers in defense. Like when it comes to opponents' points per game, yards per game, everything. Like, and I think I'm actually pretty sure Shield has the stat that the Bears are one of the first teams ever to have whatever their record is. I believe the Bears are still 8-3 currently,
Yeah.
and like have a negative point differential or something like
But
that.
yes.
It's,
Okay.
it's
So
yeah.
okay. So let me let you in on the conversation in Chicago on ESPN Chicago that we've had every morning on Cap and J Hood. We ask you to check out Cap and J Hood
Shout out Cap and
six to
J Hood.
nine on on ESPN 1000 on the ESPN Chicago app. Okay. So the conversation, Cliff, has been you're talking about Shield Kapadia. That's
Correct.
part of that, right? On the Ringer. That's
Yep,
usually
yep.
so.
Shout out to Shield.
So
Ringer's Philly special.
so that's why because I'm a viewer, I'm a listener, so I know
Here
what's
we
going
go.
on over there.
Here we
Uh,
go.
so here's the conversation. So there's only been three teams that's been able to get on top that has a negative point differential. And the Bears are headed in that direction right now because of the close one score games. They've had five comeback victories, which is awesome because I'd rather be 8-3 than 3-8. So I'm
Yep,
happy that the Bears have been able to do that. But what you're talking about is relevant in that the Bears take the ball away a ton. They're
yep,
opportunistic as far as interceptions, takeaways, all that. They lead the league in that. But
yep,
at the same time, you have a defense that has been so banged up. You have a
yep.
defensive line that's been ineffective getting to the quarterback. Just now, just now, Montez Sweat is getting to the quarterback, like the last three games.
He's
But
good,
then,
man.
but the rest of it, no, it has not been good.
Yeah.
And then just like the banged up secondary, they piecemeal the defense together somehow to beat the Steelers.
Gardner
Guys
Johnson
that were
over there now. Yeah.
dudes was working at Target, guys that was just on the scrap heap, and they just put it together.
Well, relax.
They
Gardner Johnson just won a Super Bowl last year. Let's not do
okay.
that.
Well, let's talk about Demar. Do you know who Demarco Jackson is?
Yeah.
Okay, Demarco
Yeah.
Jackson, he had the green dot, and
Yes.
he looked at his helmet like, "What you want me to do with it?" Oh, I hear the coach. Is that you, coach?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
said, like Dennis sounds like, "Yes, I'm talking to you. You got to call the plays."
Yeah.
Like a guy like so it has been a mash unit when it
Yep.
comes to the defense,
Yep.
and then offensively speaking. So with Caleb Williams, it's baby steps, right? Like
Yep.
step by step, he's getting better and better. And he's got a lot of weapons that he's got to feed. There's a lot of guys that want the
Yep. We
football,
got
like five
Rome, we got
guys.
Swift, DJ Moore.
Yeah.
Who else? Luther Burden, Colt Loveland, Komet. I mean, it's some
Yeah.
dogs over there on offense, man.
There's a lot of guys that need the football, okay, and then run the football well with Swift and Monongai. So
Yep. Yep. And that guy's good.
I would just say that the biggest test I look at for this game is that see how will the Bears be able to handle the offense of the Eagles
Mhm.
because again you're not going to get much of a pass rush, and then will the Bears be able to get turnovers
Are
like
the
they've had in other
linebackers going to
games?
be there? I mean, my goodness, the whole linebacking core was out on
Well,
Sunday.
that's a big question, isn't it?
Yo, like TJ Edwards, shout out to TJ, former Eagle great TJ Edwards there,
Yeah.
helped us reach a Super Bowl for sure. Yeah, I mean, are those guys going to be with Edmonds playing? Like, my goodness, I saw it as a whole mesh unit, bro.
Yeah, it's bad. so so
So,
that's why I need you to just kind of just step aside because we kind of need this victory. Because
yeah,
and by the way, this is the game where there are even some Bears fans and people obviously nationally that said that the Bears aren't real at 8-3. So they feel like if they beat the Eagles, then
all right,
there's more
describe
realism
real
with the
though. What
Bears.
is real? What do people mean real? What do people mean by
Well,
real?
here's what's funny, Cliff.
Like, what's
So
the expectation?
the people that don't like college football, oh, I don't, I spend time with my wife and my girl on Saturdays. I don't watch college football, but yet
Right.
they're draft experts when it comes to the draft, right? But they
They
never watch
never,
on
yeah,
Saturdays, right?
they don't watch Ole Miss versus Alabama or somebody. Yeah,
Yeah, but here's the conversation. What I say to my listeners is you talk about streak the schedule and you talk about who they've beaten. That's a college football conversation. That's not a pro
yeah,
conversation because
right, right,
it's hard to win in the NFL.
for sure.
So but there are some, and we went after Chris Canty on ESPN radio this
Shout out to
morning where he
Canty, that's
said
my guy.
well, he says like, the Bears didn't play anybody, so how can I believe in them? But yet if you want to have the conversation about strength of schedule, the softest is the Patriots, and but
Yeah,
yet they're in everyone's top
they're
five.
top five,
All good,
because
all
of
good
Drake
though.
May.
All good. My point is, Cliff, is that I don't believe in strength of schedule conversation in the NFL. I could talk to you all day in college, but in the NFL, it's hard to win, man, because you never know what's going to happen. So there's
Yeah.
some that don't believe the Bears are real because they feel like the schedule has been too soft and they've been getting away with wins.
Well, I'll say this, like, I mean, you win, you play who's on your schedule, right? Like, you don't,
That's correct.
you can't fix that. This is not college where you adjust your schedule and you can kind of pick and choose certain teams that you want to play and get yourself like one of those little bye weeks, right? Like, no matter what NFL teams you're playing, it's going to be hard. But at the same time, I could say, like, I don't know what the Bears really are because they haven't really played too many great teams. Like, you could say that. That does that make sense to you? But at the same time, like, you still won 8 games. Like, I don't think that's truly an accident. But does that make you a championship contender? Probably not.
My,
Maybe,
my
like,
well, my perspective is you were asked last year, so I didn't know if the Bears are going to be any good or not. When you looked at schedule and you lost 10 in a row last year,
yeah, yeah,
how was I supposed to know that the
yeah,
Bears could be able to win these one score games? I had
exactly.
no idea what the Bears would be in
Yeah,
in year one of Ben Johnson. But
I'm,
people in retrospect look at it and say, "Oh, well, the Bears haven't played anybody." Well, who were the Bears when the season started? Who are
I mean,
they?
look at the Commanders last year too, right? The Commanders went from what they won, 4 games and drafted Jaden Daniels, and then ended up in the NFC Championship game. Like,
Right.
I mean, things can happen. That doesn't. I don't know if they're saying, "Hey, are the Bears a Super Bowl contender?" I can see how people could be like, I don't really believe in the Bears. I think there's just a lot. There's a lot to be done there. There's a lot more that they need to happen for them. But I mean, hell, that offense ain't bad. I mean, you got Ben Johnson, you got all those weapons. They put up a ton of points. Caleb Williams is one of those dudes where it's like, oh my goodness, like he'll have a play like he did with what was that safety in the end zone with T.J. Watt damn near, you know,
Yeah.
decapitated him, and then he'll have other plays where he just breaks one off for 20 plus yards, and you're like, okay, this is the guy that, like, we drafted number one. You know what I'm saying? So he's still learning. I mean, I don't. I think that offense is more than capable of like taking you on a little playoff run for sure. I don't think. Plus, the NFC
Wow.
isn't like there's a lot of good teams. There isn't an NFC doesn't have a ton of teams where it's like, oh my goodness gracious, like we can't stop them. No, there's a lot of parity going on this year. You think about it, you got the Rams, you got the Bucks, you got the Seahawks, you got the Niners who just won last night. You got like your division alone. Just look at your division alone, right? Like there's a ton of parity, and anybody could get beat any Sunday in 2025 NFL.
Cliff, do you have the? Can you call up the schedule for the Bears? Can you put that up in front of you? Do you have it?
let me pull up my phone real quick.
The only reason why
Schedule.
I ask you is because so at the beginning of
Yeah.
the season, I had the Bears going 8-9 because it's the first
Mhm,
year of Ben Johnson, a lot of
mhm.
new moving parts. I had no idea. So now they've matched the total. They're at
Yep.
eight wins now.
Uh-huh.
So what I would say is like if you get to double digits and you get to the playoffs and you can, that's gravy because look at the schedule. It's hard to beat the Eagles one,
Yeah.
but then you got Green Bay
You got to go to Green Bay.
twice, and
Yeah.
you got Cleveland in there too with this tough defense. So all I'm saying is like nothing's easy in the NFL, but I just know that from the Bears standpoint, they need to be able to continue to just do what they can every game because nothing's given to them. Eight wins at this point is more is I didn't know that they win so many close games.
Yeah.
But I mean, but think about how daunting the rest of that schedule is. Like
These are
they gotta
tough.
get
Yeah.
they gotta get to 10, right? Look
Yeah.
at it. What do you
Yeah.
see?
These are tough. I mean, so at Philly, right, on Black Friday, and
Yep.
then you kind of get like a small little bye coming off the Black Friday, but you got to go to Green Bay, which is always tough for y'all. A divisional opponent, NFC North, you know how that is.
Yeah.
Versus Cleveland, Shador is playing now, so we don't. The defense in Cleveland is pretty good. Shador's playing, so we don't know what's up with that. Green Bay again, divisional opponent. You never know what's going on with that, so that's always going to be a dogfight in itself. At San Fran is going to be tough, and then the Lions to end the season. I mean, look, that's a
Yeah.
gauntlet. Yeah, that's a gauntlet. That's not easy. Yeah, that
That's a
is
bitch,
not
ain't it?
easy. Yeah, that is not. I mean, I say this. Y'all could probably split with Green Bay, and then if you take one, I mean, I think y'all could probably split with Green Bay, and y'all probably take one either Cleveland, San Fran, or Detroit to end the season.
I mean,
I think that'll get you 10.
and by the way, I'll take it based on what we had last year. I'll take it.
Yeah. Like, I mean, yeah, if you're
See,
a Bears fan, you got to be elated. Like, it's some Ben Johnson came in there and turned the tide around, bro.
there's some people that just don't understand how to be able to root for a team that's winning. Listen, my standards are different from your standards, in which, hey man, you're looking to get another Super Bowl. You're trying to get another Lombardi. That's
Yeah,
where you're trying to go. For the
yeah,
Bears, for being as bad as they were under Matt Eberflus,
yep.
losing 10 straight, having to fire the head
And
coach
then
in
that
season,
Thanksgiving game and that's
bro.
that last minute sequence was one of the worst football sequences I ever seen in my life. I couldn't believe what I was watching.
So
Unbelievable.
so check it. We had the Matt Eberflus show on the morning show on Captain
Hmm.
J Hood.
Yep.
And that dude, man, it was hemming and hawing. He always believed that what he did was right. It
Yep.
was
Yep.
bad. There's no accountability,
Yep.
and
This is my way or the highway. Yep.
dude, that I'm glad you brought up that Thanksgiving game. People need to remember what happened there. That
That was
horrible
some of the
decision.
worst. That was one of the worst 1 minute end of game drills I've ever seen in my life. Like just god awful. That dude deserved. I couldn't believe he didn't. They let him back on the plane after that. Like that was crazy. It was that bad. I would have left him right in Detroit. Like that. That was atrocious.
Hey, let me ask you this.
What
Oh,
up?
Cliff, tell me who is good. Oh, no, who is good to great in the NFL, the whole league. Who do you think is good to great?
I mean, it's super parody. Like I don't think
Yeah,
anybody's like, oh my goodness gracious, this team is a juggernaut. They're about to win. Like no, like look at teams like the Chiefs. Even like that team struggles. I mean, I think the Rams are solid, right? Like I mean, other than that, there ain't really. There's no one in the AFC where I'm looking at that team and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that they're going to be a struggle. They're going to be a bust. So like the Patriots don't scare anyone, the Bills don't scare anyone, the Ravens don't scare anyone, the Steelers don't scare anyone. The Brown like we that whole AFC North, like the Browns don't scare anyone. South, I mean, you got the Jags. Do they scare anybody? No. Like
yeah.
The Colts are solid, but I would say the Colts are probably but it's Daniel Jones, man. Like, am I really? but look, I mean, he's been okay, right? Like
Yeah,
he started off hot, but it's really the John Taylor show over there too, and then the defense is pretty good over there as well. And Tyler Warren and all those guys are pretty good. But like, do the Colts terrify anyone? No. There's no one in the AFC that's just that truly stands out. Um, there's no one in the NFL to me that can't get got. I think this is one of the best years of parity in the NFL ever.
Daniel Jones is the hot looking woman at the bar, but again, the lighting isn't great, but you know that she looks good. And then it's time to go, and the lights come on, and you're like, oh my god, that's what that is. I mean, she's good for right now. I mean, the
Right.
drinks are flowing, the conversation's great, the food's great, and all of a
Yep.
sudden, now you get a better glimpse when the lights come on when they're about to close. It's like,
Yeah.
oh
Oh,
shit.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
Let
like
me get out
that's
of
Daniel
here.
Jones.
Yeah, let me get out of here before I make a mistake.
That's Daniel Jones. I think we know what that is.
Exactly,
So
exactly. So yeah, I mean, I can. Look. I could put my trust in John Taylor. I can do that. That's for damn sure. But other than that, I mean, there. I mean, do you? What do you think? Do you think there's any team in the NFL that's like head and shoulders above anyone?
no, I think it's well, here's the thing. I think the best team in the NFL right now are the Rams.
Sure.
And I have
And they look
a
the
ticket
best.
on
They're playing the best,
I
and they look the best.
I got a ticket on the Rams for the Super Bowl when the
Okay.
season started. I just
Mhm.
like the way they operate.
Yep.
And I just think that, the way their offense is going, I never thought that Stafford would be at this level at this age, but
Mhm.
he's getting better and better. So I think
MVP
that
candidate.
like we could do like the tiers for now and just put the Rams there, but they could be replaceable, Cliff. It could be
Yeah.
someone else that could take that spot. And
Yeah.
by the way, this is Roger Goodell's wet dream. His wet dream is to have all this parity. I think
Yep.
that's the
Yep.
case.
To have all these teams be in it, all these teams kind of 1 week they'll have like the highest of the highs, and then the next thing you know they'll lose to some opponent that they played completely down to. You know what I'm saying? This is
Hmm.
definitely 100% what the NFL. This is what the NBA wants. They want
Yeah.
this is why the NBA implemented the second April. They want this type of style of like I don't know who's going to win this year. It could be this team, it could be that. The NBA hates they hate the they hated. I mean, I don't want to say they hated, but they probably didn't really like the whole Cleveland, Golden State every year, knowing that Golden State was probably going to come out on top from
Yeah.
when they had that little run. But now I'm sure the NBA loves the fact that Jokic and not to go too much into NBA tangent, but Jokic, OKC, like teams like that, the Pistons are coming up. Like I'm sorry to bust your bubble over there in Chicago, but the Pistons are looking pretty good there too as well. But yeah, like this is 100% what Goodell wanted. Just straight parity throughout. A lot of good players, a ton of watchable games. There has been an alarming amount of injuries this year, but even then, it seems like most of the quarterbacks are kind of staying afloat. Besides, Joe Burrow's normal, injury injury pattern there each and every year that he has. So it seems, for the most part, most of the quarterbacks I feel like have been relatively healthy, right?
No, that is the case.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
by the way, you're not going to bust my bubble when it comes to the Chicago Bulls, because when you give up, I didn't even get to this morning, but I can talk to you about it.
yeah.
When in losses, when you've given up 150 points, 143,
Man,
143, 128.
man.
In wins, you're giving up 121, 128. Like,
Mm,
you can't stop anybody,
yeah,
and you don't have stars, you don't
yep.
win.
I say the
So you're
same. I say the same about the Sixers. When you can't, they can't stop nobody because the lineup changes every single night. You don't know where Joel Embiid is. You don't know where, you know, either Edgecombe or McCain or Grant. One of them is going to be out. Maxi, he's going to give you 45 minutes each and every single night. It's just the Kelly Oubre has been out for a while. Like I'm the same exact way with you when it comes to the Bulls. Like
yeah,
but however, I will say the lineup has been a little bit more consistent. I think Kobe White just came back, right? So
yep.
he'll be another push for y'all as well. But hey, man, I mean, for as man, I used to say this all the time. I'm like, there's no reason for the Bulls to be this bad for so many years. When no, seriously, like it hurt my heart. Like Chicago is like such a prideful basketball city that seeing the Bulls be so down for so long because of how bad the management was, like that truly hurt my heart.
I um I was at the United Center just recently, and I saw
Hmm.
those banners, those Jordan banners,
Yeah.
and if I looked at it real closely, I was like, man, these banners are starting to yellow. They're not even white anymore. They're yellow.
You gotta watch them.
That that's how long it's been since
You gotta
since he
watch
can.
them.
I mean, I say, boy, that's like a maze. It's not even white anymore. It's like a maze color. That's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
good.
yeah, yep, yep. You gotta watch
Um,
them.
Cliff, lastly, I want to ask you about the must-haves for Thanksgiving. Something that you
Mm.
must have on the table.
Ooh, you gotta have stuffing. All right, number one, gotta have mash. Gotta have mac and cheese. You gotta have a Haitian. I'm Haitian, so you gotta have a Haitian black rice.
Yeah.
Turkey, obviously, turkey's a must. Um, Ham. Uh, you gotta have some type of casserole and sweets. You gotta have the pies. You gotta have the options of pies. You gotta have the apple. You gotta have the sweet potato. You gotta have the ice cream on top of that. It's yeah, that's how we coming on Thanksgiving. You gotta have all that.
You went with the side items first before like a roast or a turkey, though. That's what you
Nah,
just
yeah,
did.
the sides make the meals, bro. Come
Yep.
on now, we know that the turkey's complimentary. The sides hey, you know what I'm talking about. The sides make the
I
meal
do.
though. The
I
sides
do.
make the meal.
I would like to know also, how deep in the bag do you go on the Haitian food?
Oh
How deep in
man,
the bag?
my mom and dad they Haitian immigrants, so we deep. The fries, you know how the bag the fries at the bottom of the bag of the Wendy's bag. That's how
Yeah,
deep in the Haitian bag we go to with the cooking, man. That's how it is, bro. You gotta stay rooted.
I love that. I
Yeah,
love
you
that.
gotta stay
It's going to be
rooted.
a great. It's going to be a great Thanksgiving. Well, the latest number, by the way, for Bears and Eagles. That
It's like 7, right?
Yeah. So you're taking Bears plus 7. Is that where you're going?
Yeah, I mean the Eagles offense hasn't shown me any. I wouldn't. All right, I wouldn't. I would say the Bears can cover that, but the Eagles offense hasn't shown me anything that they could beat a team by full touchdown. Like, why would
Okay.
I? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like
Yep.
why would I? Yeah, they haven't shown me anything. Like they haven't shown me, oh, there's a model of consistency here. The only thing that they show me is that, hey, I could throw a bomb to Devontae Smith and he might break, catch a 60-yard touchdown, or AJ Brown might beat his man, or Saquon Barkley may break one off. But as far as like consistently driving down the field and maintaining offense, there's no evidence of that from the Philadelphia Eagles this season. It just isn't.
Cliff, I'm glad you spent some time with me, man. I'm so happy for you and your success at the Ringer
My
on
dog.
Spotify, covering Philadelphia sports. So as always, I appreciate you.
Hey, Hoodie, man, my dog. Anytime you text me, shoot me a text, and let me know what's up, man. You already know what it is, and keep doing your thing too, man. Cap and J Hood, man, super proud of you. We used to thug it out on the weekends together, and then we built a great friendship, and God rest his soul, Jeff Dickerson, and everybody,
Yeah.
man. That was some of the funnest times I had working in this industry. So, man, appreciate you.
Cliff Augustin with us right here on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment to our video as we talk to you about the Bears and the Eagles. I'll be on with Cap on Friday morning. We'll lead you into our coverage on the home of the Bears, ESPN 1000. And I can't wait. Bears and Eagles, Bear down versus Fly Eagles Fly. We'll see what happens. Thanks so much for checking out Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. So long, everybody.